just to start off, you've already made a judgment about me. No, seriously, you did. Whether this is your first impression of me, or if you see me around the hallways before I'm your friend or your classmate, you've made the whole picture of me. You decided who I am, whether I'm trustworthy, kind, brave, all of that. And you made that judgment under less than a second. Now, let's try something out. I'm going to show you a picture of two people, and I want you to decide for yourself, without saying anything out loud, who these people are to you. Which one is more kinder, more braver, more smart? Okay, got it?
Yeah.
Now here's the thing. You just made a list of judgments about people who you've never seen in your entire life, at least I hope. And you made those judgments only on their appearance, without any backstory, any conversation. And you just needed a face to look at in a second. And that's your brain's unconscious filter at work. And that is what I want to talk to you about today. How our brains make snap decisions before we're even aware of them. And why it may matter more than we may think. Because first impressions are powerful, but they're not always correct. They can be real misleading. Why do these impressions stick though? One word, bias. Bias is an inclination or prejudice for or against one person or group, especially in a way considered to be unfair. Then, there's confirmation bias. The tendency to interpret new evidence as confirmation to one's existing beliefs or theories. And the evidence can be anything. It can go from the person's body language, their choice of words, the look they give someone. An example of this is when you meet someone new and you find them confident from the first look. And from the moment, you will notice all the times where they speak up in a class and subconsciously ignore all the times where they don't. Another theory, another effect, is called the halo effect. The tendency for an impression created in one area to influence opinion in another area. And the example of this is when you view someone as funny and that character traits infiltrates and influences other characteristics traits. Suddenly they're also funny and they're suddenly also reliable too. And the last effect that I want to mention is the primacy effect. And that means we give more weight to the first thing that we learn about a person rather than anything we hear afterwards. Now, I would like to share a personal story with you. About a month ago, I started doing my driving license, and I was assigned an instructor to teach me how to drive. And from the moment I met that person, I just found him really unfriendly and ignorant and all that. And you can only imagine, you're supposed to spend 2 hours with the person you're not really fond of behind the steering wheel. And I tried to convince myself that it was just the experience of learning something new that was bothering me, not the person. But nothing helped me fight off the feeling. So, during that time, I was also working on this TED Talk, and I realized I might use some of the tools that I learned while researching this topic. So, one time before the lesson, I embraced and encouraged myself to look and name every single thing he did, like positive thing, in my mind. So it would go on like this. I would get into the car, and he would smile at me. And in my head, I would go, okay, Lee, now he smiled at you. That's nice. And it went on like this for the whole lesson. The whole lesson. I was concentrating more on the positive things rather than driving. So, well. But turns out, it wasn't actually all bad. I was just concentrating on all the bad. And that made me realize how many missed opportunities, missed connections, and missed friendships that I missed just because of a snap judgment that I didn't know I had any control of. And that is why I want to share some tools with you. The first one is to challenge your own story. I want you to ask yourself, am I seeing the real person or confirming what I already know? Just picture one person that you dislike, and actually try to look for and search for the evidence that you dislike them. And obviously if they're a murderer or something, well then that's different. But the second one is to pause. Because pausing and actually stopping for a second before deciding who they are can give us a second chance at seeing someone for who they really are. And I know that this one might sound tough, and it is tough because we will always judge people. That is in our nature. But just by knowing this and realizing what we do subconsciously could give us that second chance. The next one is the widen the categories, because people are only good or bad. They could be also having a bad day, stressing, or they could be also having the greatest day of their life. And the most important one is to give second chances, because all of us mess up our first impressions, including me, including everyone in this room. So, On the other hand, what if you are the one leaving a first impression? Studies show that the fastest way to make a good impression is with a genuine smile, because a genuine smile signals warmth and openness. But I'm highlighting the genuine because people can spot the lack of authenticity in seconds too. So if you don't feel like smiling, instead of focus on being grounded and staying present, because that also leaves a good impression. And what I want you to leave with today is that you will always have first impressions, but you can also always question them. And the next time you meet someone new, think about the kind of impression you want to leave the person with. And just to remember that each and every impression is a chance to connect and to understand. So make it count. Thank you.